Welcome to Let's Talk. So on the talk show, we've got, and then we've got, and we got Betty. That is not going anywhere, guys.
Okay, so while we're still dwelling on this issue of relationships, what qualities do you guys think, every person or maybe everyone should have with regards to a relationship? Or what qualities do you think every relationship should have?
I think for me, I would definitely say integrity and honesty. In terms of characteristics and qualities, I think meeting quite a few different people, I think you realise that actually it's something that's really lacking, is that genuineness, that integrity. I find that the whole idea of side chicks has become normal. And I'm not sure when it became so normal. And it became
Social media.
It's social media, exactly. Even scandal. I mean, I think.
What happened? Scandal?
Yes.
Like she's after the president, man.
And it's almost like it's become this fad. It's just like,
It's the in
So
thing.
it's society. Is it accepted in society?
Yeah, it has been. Because, even where I come from right now, within our age group now, the young adults, if someone doesn't have a side chick or side chicks, they're deemed not cool, not normal. It's like a normal thing for even married men to have side chicks, and everyone's just seeing it normal.
Someone mentioned something to me. I was having a conversation with my friend, and she was like, she's already prepared for her future husband to have a side chick.
I've heard it so
She
many
was.
times.
That's what she said. She's like, she's ready. She's just ready to do that. It's just like,
What?
whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. That's ridiculous.
No, but that's the thing. That's how normal things have been. Things that were not normal. That's how they've been. And if we don't speak out about these things and just keep going with the flow, everything's
That's how
just
it is.
gonna be lost.
Yeah, that's how everything that used to be deemed as normal gets blurred. The lines get blurred.
Yeah.
Don't want to go into detail, but
Yeah.
the more we try not to annoy society or
Offend.
offend,
Yeah, it's actually offensive.
Then
Everything is
yeah.
offensive now.
yeah, then we keep quiet, and then slowly along the line, then you stop talking about it, and then that's how even there was this situation where the Bible version, the Bible app. If you look at there were some Bible scriptures that were taken out of the new updated ones. So they're just taking out from the Bible, they're missing, and then people caused outrage. But that's just the outrage now. No one's going to do anything. But 20 years from now, or 30 years from now, when everything is digitalized, those scriptures will not be remembered for real, and that's how you've taken out that part of. Do you get? So it's just how the more we keep quiet, the more it's easy to just keep it under the table. So yeah, Peter.
You still see something, Sarah? Are you done?
I think I don't know when things became so blurred, when the boundaries became so blurred. And I think I look at society and I just look at how it talks about, I have to go back to the Bible, how it talks about, for a man to keep himself pure, he should delight, it talks about in Psalms. I just feel like everything's just become blurred. I feel like the boundaries have just become very blurred. And I don't know. I sometimes find myself feeling a little bit apathetical and find myself feeling a little bit cynical about relationships. I know I shouldn't. But it just feels like the society and the generation has just become a lot. I remember my parents' days, when a guy said he was a Christian, he was a Christian. I mean, he was a Christian. And this day and age, just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you're a Christian. And it's, I'm just like, wow. Yeah.
It really goes to.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
It's true.
It's
Everyone,
general,
it's
yeah.
true. Christianity is just a Facebook status.
Seriously.
Thursdays for Sundays, for church selfie.
Clubbing Mondays.
Church selfie, Sunday best. That's it.
But yeah, moving along, what do you guys have to say? qualities in relationship.
I think the biggest quality is compromise. You have to be able to compromise in a relationship because
How far can you compromise, or how much can you compromise?
that depends on the couple. I can't really judge. You can't really judge the level of compromise. It depends on relationship as well. I think couples need to learn to be able to compromise. I think we're in this day and age where I think everyone feels like a sense of pride, like I don't know, too much pride, and which is really really bad because. For example, if couples argue and all that, no one is willing to kind of step down anymore. Like everyone wants to prove they are right, and that is not the way it's supposed to be. I think people need to gain that wisdom to be able to compromise, because being able to compromise makes relationship greater because you learn a lot more from each other as well. Like respect comes from that as well. So it's important to be able to learn to compromise. That's what I'm saying.
Can I add to what you said about compromise? I feel compromise, like I said, is ideal, but like I feel when you start compromising your actual self, who you are, then
You don't compromise yourself.
your standards. You know, you can compromise. I can compromise certain things that I can compromise because I can't get my way all the time. You have to compromise. There's certain things that if you guys want to make it well, you have to compromise. But there's certain standards that make who you are. There's certain things that make who you are. And if you start compromising them, it will not be long till you start having resentment, and you start like, oh God, this person is making me do this or something. So I feel that will be the boundary for me. Like, you have to know who you are again. You have to know who you are, and then if you're compromising yourself, then there's a few.
Obviously, like Peter said, there's compromise. There's certain things that you can compromise, but some things I think are just it's a no-go area. Once you see yourself in that position where you start to compromise who you really are and what qualities that the qualities that you hold, then I think there must be a problem there.
I agree. I think it's because I think a lot of people sort of like end up settling as well. You know,
20 years down the line, they'll get up and leave.
Yeah.
Funny? Qualities. I think the biggest quality is the person has to be your friend, because if you have a good friend through the good times and the bad times, they'll always be there. A friend is going to understand you, is willing to understand you, willing to adapt to you, adjust to who you are and everything. So they have to be your friend. They have to be, compassionate, because there are situations where you would go through that are, kind of hard and kind of tough. And as women, we have our emotional ups and downs. So you kind of need a guy who's, who's gonna stand by you and stick with you.
I was going to say, I feel like going into song.
And then someone who's just God-fearing and, friendly, family-orientated. It just makes everything nice and easy for you. Yeah.
We said all the but
I think there's one important quality you guys have not mentioned. I think forever will get it.
There's one important quality.
Yeah.
She said trust.
Vision.
No, but what I was going to say, I don't know what MJ said, is the important quality is, in a relationship, is that a question? I feel
Not every relationship should have.
every relationship can
It's like a baseline for relationships, basically.
compatibility. Is that a quality? But I feel you should be able to get each other. You should be able to. Are you the right fit?
That's where friendship comes into play, right?
Yeah, because I can. No, but to be fair, I can be your friend. But if we're in a relationship, there's certain things you would do as a friend. I'll be like, yeah, that's you.
But when you start from friendship, if you decide to go to relationship status, the friendship there is the baseline already.
Wait, no, but let me. I understand what you're saying, but if you're my friend, and then, for example, I don't like smoking, but let's say there may be type A has a friend, type B that, let's say acquaintance, but we talk and everything, but like he smokes, and I'm not, I don't like smokes, but I'm not going to come and say don't smoke or something, that's, I will obviously tell you the hazards of smoking, what you're doing, how you're harming yourself.
No, but I think with what you're saying with that one, if you're friends, already for you to become friends, you have to be compatible. And then if someone is doing something that you don't like, I'm sure they'll see you're uncomfortable with it, and they'll not do it around you because they respect you as a friend.
obviously. But that's when they're now doing it. They're not doing it around you, but they're still doing it.
But you would know. That's the thing.
But that's the thing. In that, you're still impacting their life, and slowly they'll stop. That's how it is. Like,
and even if they don't stop, you would know. If you want to get in a relationship with that person, and you know the person has like an habit and stuff like that, before you get into that relationship, you would know if you are willing to tolerate that habit, or if you're not willing to. Because if you're willing to tolerate that habit and you're willing to get into a relationship with that person, then you've made that decision as a person that, this person smokes, I still love the person anyway, and I'm willing to get into a relationship with that person. And you've accepted it within yourself.
What the fumes?
It's your choice, that's the thing.
But anyway, like I was saying, one important quality I think that every relationship should have is communication. Which is a major thing. Like, communication, obviously, you need to be able to communicate so that you know the other person. And through communication streams all these other qualities of trust, integrity. If you need to communicate who you are to the other person needs to communicate who they are to you. And that's how you get to know that, we are compatible, we are not compatible. Or this person likes this, they don't like this. Or this is who I am, and this is who the other person is. It's through that. So I think communication is one of the key qualities that every relationship should have. Because there's some relationships where they have problems, but some people don't talk about it. Like even marriages now, you see marriages breaking down. Someone would rather go and talk to a professional than talk to their own husband. And it's something that you can just sit down, talk about it, and like you going to seek help outside, because then now it just brings a third voice into the relationship, which sometimes might not work out. So I think communication is one of the key qualities that every relationship should have, alongside every other quality that has been mentioned here. So it's something about Benny.
What now?
Is it parting?
That's weak.
Oh! When you have big hair and then the parting is
What do you call it? It looks like mesh.
Oh my god, I'm done. I
I don't even want to hear what you say about me.